Hi all, welcome to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we will see problem number 3580, find consistently improving employees. So this is a medium category LeetCode problem. In this problem, we have an employees table in which the employee ID is the unique identifier for this table, and each row contains information about an employee. If we talk about the performance reviews table, then review ID is the unique identifier for this table, and each row represents a performance review for an employee. The rating is on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is excellent and 1 is poor. So write a solution to find employees who have consistently improved their performance over their last 3 reviews. So what do you mean by the last 3 reviews? So these criteria are mentioned over here, that an employee must have at least 3 reviews to be considered. The employee's last 3 reviews must show strictly increasing ratings, each review better than the previous one, and use the most recent 3 reviews based on the review date for each employee. Calculate the improvement score as the difference between the latest rating and the earliest rating among the last 3 reviews, and return the result table ordered by improvement score in descending order, then by name in ascending order. Okay. So let us see this. We have this employees table in which the employee ID and the name is mentioned, and in this performance review table, right, we have the review ID which is unique and the employee ID mentioned with the review date and the rating mentioned, right? So for every employee ID, if you just see over here, we have this review date. Okay, and what we need to do, we need to go ahead and order this review date in descending order, because we want the date, the latest date to be at the top. Okay, and followed by the 3 consecutive date. For those 3 consecutive date, we need to check for the rating. If the rating is in strictly descending, like in decreasing order, then only we need to consider that particular employee, else we will discard that employee. Also, we need to make sure that a particular employee has at least 3 reviews. Okay, so if you look at number 5, right, number 5 doesn't have 3 reviews, right? It has 2 reviews only, so we will discard them completely, right? And if you look at the output table is in this format: employee ID, name, and improvement score. So what is the improvement score? Improvement score is basically the difference between the latest rating and the earliest rating among the last 3 reviews, right? So if we are going to go ahead and calculate the improvement score, that would be the highest rating minus the lowest rating, right? That's what we need to go ahead and calculate. Okay. So first and foremost, what we will do, we are going to go ahead and eliminate those particular employee IDs where the number of reviews are less than 3. Okay, so let us go ahead and let us see how we will do that. So we will say select. Okay, and also what we are going to do, right, we have to go ahead and merge. We will be using an inner join between the employees table and the performance reviews table on the basis of the employee ID, because in the output we need the employee ID as well as the name, right? So what we are going to say, we are going to say select everything, comma, and let me also put the aliasing p dot everything, that is for the performance review, e dot name. Okay, and also what I'm going to do, right, in order for me to go ahead and check how many employees are out here, right, that is for employee ID 1 we have 4 reviews, for employee ID 2 we again have 4 reviews. So for calculating the count of the reviews, I'm going to use the count function over here, right? So count p dot review ID. Okay, and I will say over, and here I will say partition by, right, and I need to partition it by the employee ID only, correct, because for every employee ID we need the particular count, and I will say as CNT from performance reviews as P, inner join. I will do inner join with the employees as E on E dot employee ID is equals to P dot employee ID. correct, order by p dot employee id. Okay, now think about this. We need to order this by the employee id. In which order? In the ascending order, correct? And not only that, we need to also order by the review date in descending order, right? So that the highest date comes at the top. Okay, so we will say p dot review underscore date in descending order, right? And the reason why we will be doing this, because later on we will just see right now that once we will be using the row number function to order them, right, we will be using the topmost value, the highest value, as row number 1, and the last value will be row number 3, right? So that we will use that. Okay, so let us go ahead and let us run this one first. Okay, and if I go down, you see that the name has been added as well as the count has been provided, right? So for employee id 1, the count is 4, correct? Similarly for employee id 3, the count is 4. So for all the employee IDs, the count has been mentioned over here, right? That there are at least 4 reviews over here, correct? So from here we need to eliminate those particular items where the CNT value is less than 3, correct? So let us go ahead and let us do that. So I will be storing this inside the temporary table and say comma, and I will say temp2 as, and here it will be select review ID comma employee ID, okay, then review date, then rating, then name, and I will say from temp where the CNT is greater than or equal to 3, right? So this will be eventually giving me all the values which have minimum 3 ratings, right? Now what we want, okay, we want the last 3 values, right? So how are we going to go ahead and do it? One lengthy way is that we can obviously use the row number function as well as we can use the dense rank function. And once we use the row number and the dense rank function, right, wherever my dense rank function value and the row number value is equals to 3, that means we have third value present, right? In that particular way we will just simply go ahead and return the employee ID. But obviously we need to also find the difference, right? So in that particular case, that particular approach becomes a little lengthy, right? So in this particular in this particular problem, what we are going to do, we are going to use the lead function, right? Because we need the next 2 values. Once we get the next 2 values, right, then we will easily be able to go ahead and compare whether my immediate value is less than the first value and my second immediate value is less than the first immediate value or not. So let us go ahead and let us see that code. I will say select everything comma lead, and here I will say rating comma 1, right? So this is the format of the lead function. It's a window function, so it requires rating, that is this particular value, and how many values you want the immediate value. So I need the next immediate value, so I will say comma 1, right? And I will say over, and here I will say partition by. And how are we going to partition it by? We need to partition it by obviously with the help of the employee ID. Per employee we are doing it, right? Also we need to take this into account. We need to order it by the review date. In which order? In the descending order, right? So review date in descending order, and I will say this one as LD. Okay, again I will be copying this. I will be copying this and I'm pasting it over here, and I will be replacing this with S2, and I will say L2D. Okay, so the second immediate value that I have, I will go ahead and I will alias this as L2D. right? And again, after this, I also need to go ahead and I also need to number this, right? Number each and every one of these employee ID over here as 1 2 3 4 like that, right? And the reason why we are doing this, because we want to go ahead and we want to make sure that we need to make sure that we always get the top one value, that is the row number one value, and we will see why. So I will see row number, okay, and I will say over and partition by, okay, partition by, and this I will do it by the employee ID, and I will order this again by the review date in descending order, right? And I will see this as RN from temp 2, right? If I go ahead and if I run this, you see what will come. I will get everything from temp 2, also the next, the immediate value of the rating, and the second immediate value has also come. If you can just see, then for 5, 4 and 3 has also come, right? If we look into the employee ID as for 2, then for employee ID 2 also 5, 4 and 2 has come. And the reason why I have taken this RN, now you have probably understood, from this RN for every employee, right, I have gone ahead and I will I only need to go ahead and check if for the RN where the value is 1, right? Where the value is 1, that's only I need, right? Because this is my rating, this is my second highest rating, this is my third highest rating. Last 3 review dates, for the last 3 review dates we need to get the rating values, and then we need to compare these rating values. So RN, so we need to only take those data records into account where my RN is 1. So for that reason only we took this row number here into account, right? So now what we are going to do, I'm going to say I'm going to store this one as temp 3 as, right? And here I'm going to write my final query, and I will say select, I only need the employee ID. If you go down, what else, what are the things that we need? Employee ID we need the name, we need the improvement score. So improvement score is going to be my rating. Now if you can just see here, my subtraction becomes easier. Rating minus, I will simply do L2D, right, as improvement score, right, from temp 3, right, where my RN is equals to 1, and what else we need to take into account, that my rating value, right, is greater than LD, and the LD value is greater than L2D, right? I hope this is clear. And then I will say order by, here I will say rating minus L2D, correct? And this I will say descending, right? Because if you look at this particular table, the improvement score, right, this is my improvement score, and I cannot use the improvement score over here because improvement score is not actually a column. I am aliasing this in this select statement. If I store this in a temporary statement and then if I go ahead and use this, then probably it will work, but within the same select statement this aliasing will not work. So that's why I'm using this value itself, which I'm aliasing, that I'm going to order this in descending order. The reason why, because if you look at this table, expected table, the highest improvement score is at the top, right? And then also, and then again we need to go ahead, it is saying the name should be in ascending order, right? So the name should be in ascending order. So that's it. If I go ahead and if I run this, so this has successfully run. If I submit this, okay, let me again submit this. So it has a runtime of 491 millisecond and it beats 64.7%, right? So this is a pretty efficient solution, right? If you really enjoyed this session, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you very much.